Mallory.
Hi.
And we are teaching you how to build a website. I'm teaching how to build websites.
And
I'm
I'm
teaching
learning.
Mallory. And I think it just makes it easier for me to have somebody here in person to teach. So that's what we're doing. This is our second episode. Are you calling it an episode? What do we need to call it?
I think we need to call them episodes.
Okay, so this is our second
Episodes,
episode.
sessions, you know,
Okay.
just whatever.
So this is really the first lesson, so to speak.
Official.
Official lesson. I want to start by showing you how to get a domain name, how to use the domain name, and how to hook it up. Actually, I won't show you how to hook it up until we get our hosting in the next session. I want to walk you through the steps of getting your domain name, because I've had people, I say, oh, just go to my site and get your domain name, and they'll send me an email and say, am I supposed to understand this gobbledygook?
Because people like me who are right brain, or even if you're left brain but you still don't know what technical thing she's talking about, it's kind of like, some people are like, what is a domain name? Like, what does that mean? Could you, like, if you already have a name and you already have a crappy website but you want to get a better one, could you use the same name?
If you already have a name but you have a
Or
crappy...
if you already have a website and you have a crappy website and you want a new one, could you use the same name?
Yes, you can use the same domain name. Let me explain this. Your domain name is really just a name that points to a website. So if I have a domain name with a website here and I want to build another website, I can just change where this domain points to. So instead of pointing to my old website, I can point it to my new one. Or I could build a new website and copy it over the old one and leave it pointing there. But the domain name, it's like, you probably won't know what this means, but a phone book used to, if I wanted to know where somebody lived, I could look in the phone book and I look up their name and it would give me their address. Well, people move all the time. And what happened was they would update the phone book, and every time they update it, they put your new address in there. So that's what you can think of as a domain name. It's a way to look up where a website lives, and that address can change, and it just is updated on the web. So a domain name is just a pointer to where it lives on the internet. So that's a good question. Domain names will break down the pieces, you know, because you got .coms and you got .orgs and you got .info. You've got all those different domain names, and we'll talk about what those pieces are called and why you need to know that kind of stuff. But I think we'll do that when we get on the computer.
What if you can't, like, come up with a name? What if you don't have a website yet? Like, what if the name you have, like, if your business is called Cullen Web Services, was for the purpose of this? What if that was already taken? Then what would you do? Well,
you just have to come up with another name, and that's a good point. It doesn't have to be the name of your business, you know. If we sell web services, so it could be just the best web services or good web services or whatever.
It can really be anything. It can be anything you choose that is not taken.
Right. As a matter of fact, in some cases for search engine optimization, if they don't count this as much anymore, but used to, the domain name held a lot of weight as how it ranked in the search engine. And it still does a little bit. So if I'm selling jewelry, for instance, and my business name is Cullen, there's a jewelry store here in town called Hodges. Okay, Hodges tells me nothing about jewelry. So if I just had Hodges.com,
it'd be like, okay.
That doesn't help me with search engine, because that doesn't tell the search engine what that website's about. So it would be better in that case
to have Hodges Jewelry.
Hodges Jewelry, or just the best jewelry, or cheap jewelry, or expensive jewelry. Hodges is not cheap jewelry, but expensive jewelry, or something that's more descriptive of what the website's about. That always works better in the search engines. But there's also another good point, is that you can have two domains point to the same place, because some people may be searching for Hodges, you know.
I didn't know that.
So you can have two domain names.
So, like, sorry, you could have Cullen Web Services pointing to your website, and then you could also have Cindy
Actually,
Cullen.
I do. I have CullenWebServices.com pointing to my website, and I also have Cullen-Web-Services.com pointing to the same website. The reason I have that, and I suggest that, I always tell my clients, get the dash version and the non-dash version, because when you say it on the phone, you don't want to say, okay, just go to Cullen-Web-Services.com. I want to say CullenWebServices.com. Just go there. But if I'm writing it, it looks better if it has the dash because the words don't run together. So if I'm putting an ad in the newspaper, I want to have Cullen-web-services. But if I'm saying it to somebody one-on-one or on the phone, I want to say cullenwebservices.com. So I always tell my clients, get both. You know, they're cheap. Right now, when we're recording this, they're $12.95 for a year. You know, you can't beat that. So that's a small expense for a business. So if you get 3 or 4 of those, sometimes I say get the .com and get the .org and get the It just depends on your branding and how important it would be if, for instance, my personal website, cindycullen.com, I got cindycullen.org, cindycullen.info, cindycullen.net, because I didn't want some other Cindy Cullen getting it and then getting some of my traffic. Or what if she's a hooker or something, you know? I don't want somebody looking up cindycullen.net and finding, you know, somebody that's
okay,
not
I get it. This
okay.
is a long intro.
It is a long intro, but we're talking about really important stuff with domain names because you need to think about those, and that's not something I have to show on the internet, so I think that's okay. Have you got any more questions about domain names before we get in there? Domain name before we get in there on the computer.
I don't think so.
So this first one will just be how to get the domain name. And I'll give you some options on where to get it. Of course, I think you should get it from me, but there's always GoDaddy and some other places. So I'll show you some of those too.
GoDaddy?
GoDaddy. You haven't heard of GoDaddy? Oh my goodness, Mallory, you are behind. Everybody's heard of GoDaddy. While we're talking about GoDaddy, I don't like GoDaddy, and this is why I don't like GoDaddy.
You just said, oh my god, you are slow.
I said you're behind.
Oh, okay.
Well, everybody knows about GoDaddy. Anyway, I don't like GoDaddy because I don't like their politics. The owner of GoDaddy has done some things that a lot of people don't agree with, and it's cost me some customers when I used to resell for GoDaddy. Also, I used to resell for GoDaddy. I had all these customers, and then GoDaddy stole my customers and sent them to somebody else, and it really made me mad.
Oh.
Because I can't guarantee my customers good service if they can just take them away from me like that. So I found another place that I buy domains from. Domains are regulated, and so you can't just make them up. I mean, I can't just build all that myself. I have to go through a regulation thing to get my domain names to resell them. And you can't go directly to the regulated place and buy them. So you have to go through somebody like me that resells them. And GoDaddy is one of those people. Well, GoDaddy was reselling them to me, and then I was reselling them. So anyway, GoDaddy sort of screwed me over and stole them away from me. And so it made me mad. So for those reasons, I don't like GoDaddy.
Okay. So if you guys have any questions, then leave it down in the comments. Just ask us anything, and we'll try to get back.
Or, better yet, go to cullenwebservices.com. Not cullen-webservices.com. So I'm joking. You can go there too. But go to cullenwebservices.com. There's this contact button at the bottom. If you click on that, or if you wait long enough, it'll pop up. And it lets you send me a message there. That'd be good. Because I want your questions, and I will answer them on the next or in a future episode.
We will link all these things down in the bottom bar, the link to cullenwebservices.com. And the video of us actually doing what we're talking about will be shortly up. Right after we're done talking here, it will pop up. So, if you have any questions and you don't want to go to her website, you can just leave them down in the comments and we'll get back to you.
She's good at this, isn't she? You've done this before, haven't you?
No, but I've watched enough people to know what to say.
All right.
Bye.
That's a wrap.